3. We're live.
Hello, good morning, and good afternoon, Akashic Academy family and friends, and welcome to Spirit Sessions, A View of the Light, where we take spiritual concepts and ideas and bring them into your everyday. Today we have episode 4, is it 41? Ooh, sorry.
41.
41. I blanked out. 41. And we have with us the Akashic Academy's very own Cathy Hohmeyer today. We're going to be discussing healing with frequency-based codes, which is going to be amazing. We had an experiment this week that we are so excited to share with you, where we tried some awesome stuff with frequency codes. And I ask you now to take a minute to share this out, like it up, heart it up, and invite your friends. And yeah, make sure you have a pen and paper with you, because you're definitely going to want to write down some of the codes she's going to share with us. Bring you into your optimum level of healing. It's just amazing to be able to do this. And I'm going to hand it over to Tersea now. Tersea, why don't you introduce our guest?
Okay, Cathy, I'm so excited to have you on our show. I didn't get to all the bio. Somehow, I'm always thinking I'm going to memorize this stuff, and then I don't. But Cathy Hohmeyer is from the show that comes on right after ours, and her show's called Nourish Your Multidimensional Body. I mean, that's amazing. So she started off with a career of occupational therapy while yet understanding the 3D body health and wellness. And so when her shift came, you know, the shift that all of us are getting, when her shift came, she was in a supervisory promotion in Washington, D.C., but instead returned to her hometown, creating a small resort for health and wellness. And this is where you do your retreats at, too, isn't it?
Right.
At this resort, all this stuff she's built. So now it's Chef Cathy, and she teaches us how to nourish our multidimensional bodies on 9 levels of nutrition. And there was so much more, but that's all that I wrote down. I was so excited and distracted. So tell us more. What am I leaving out about you?
Oh gosh, well, not much. I'm just doing my thing like you are. I was working in occupational therapy, and you just know that there's more to health than just working in, a system. And I gave up, a supervisory position, real good stuff down there to come home, kind of just following a path that I didn't really know what it was. And 30 years later, I'm finally seeing it come to fruition. I did make the jump and come to the lodge, and everybody told me I was crazy. And, all that sort of thing. Never really planned on marrying my husband, who was the former owners. But yeah, long history there with he and I. We realized that he told me about a joke about marriage when I was in 1st and 2nd grade, and I fell off the slide and broke my arm. So we don't know if it was just a bad piece of fate or if that was a good piece of fate, but we're still together. So.
Wow.
And
that's
then
a love story.
That's kind of crazy. It's like that's a minor part of it. The lodge itself was built by my family, and there was some energetic work done, and different people on the property. There's a portal out on the lake. My great aunt died on the property, and I had some energetic work done around that, and that was just amazing. She loves it that we're continuing this work here on the property. And I think she died in her 50s, earlier than what she wanted to do, but. So I feel kind of connected to her and continuing, her work at that time period in the 1800s. This place was supposed to be something like this. So, yeah, that's it in a nutshell. And I cook food, and I'm around food all the time, and I swear I infuse it. And, and then got into the work of nourishing, just continued the nourishing part into the 9 levels that I feel that we can use right now, while we're here. And the numbers and the frequencies are one of them.
Wow, that's an incredible history. I mean, that goes on plaques, that kind of stuff that you're telling us. I love that. So we've been telling everybody that you're teaching us about these base frequencies and stuff. Can you tell us what this means and how we could use it in our daily lives?
When I developed my program called Nutritional Energetics, I looked at, I don't even know how I found the numbers, but, just in energetics. And I interviewed my favorite numbers, I think, were developed by Lloyd Meir. I interviewed him, and I can certainly put the copy of the interview in the comments. It's a Blog Talk Radio interview. He's a wonderful gentleman, and he was an engineer. and just realized that frequencies are the base of alchemy. And I'll let him tell the story if you hear his interview. But he was just amazing. And there's different numbers too, but everything is a frequency. Numbers are a frequency. Words are a frequency, right? Matter is a combination of tons of frequencies. Lloyd says that the human body is made up of, I think he says 2.1 million frequencies, and he's got about 7,000 of them in his book that he feels are body numbers. He mostly deals in body numbers. There's other folks that you can explore numbers with, like Anahata. There's the Anahata codes.
Right.
And they're basically literally frequency numbers that are the frequency of a particular food or emotion or organ.
Or color.
And we are getting so, between the food we eat, the air we breathe, and other interferences, it's nice to know that there's base codes that we can bring back into our blueprint and have, so that they're kind of like a radio. Some are distorted. You have the frequency, but some are distorted and need correction, and some of them are missing altogether. And of course, we're sitting here pretty much alive and doing okay, so we got pretty much our frequencies are doing pretty well, and we're working on them. But it's nice to do this because people seem to resonate with the numbers. Even people who don't do energy work understand that that's a frequency, and they don't mind putting a number on their, water or something if, we try and deal with family members or people not in the same type of thing that we are. So.
Right. I love that. So water is one way that you bring them in, and then you showed us that even speaking the frequencies helps to bring them into us. And you're saying you do this with food? Tell us about how it helps the food. You were talking about the cranberries?
Yeah.
Not the rock group, but the cranberries.
Yeah, and I'll give an example too, and I'll give a bunch of numbers. I mean, I've got tons of them in front of me, so I'll see what jumps out.
All right, get your papers, guys.
Yeah, and then I will type them in the comments. I'll try and remember what ones I did and type them in because you don't want to miss a number or a space incorrectly.
Right.
But nothing is going to,
So we'll give them a second to get their pens and papers. We'll give them a second.
You guys are going to want to write these
Cathy,
down.
I know people are some people go, oh, frequencies. But we've all seen that film of the bridge that got torn apart because the certain frequency of the wind going through the wires made the sound and the whole bridge just shook apart. So I'm wondering if him being an engineer, that started getting him thinking about it, about the frequencies. Because I know, like, even bridges now have to be built to a certain frequency because they don't want that. I remember seeing that in a science class where the bridge actually just just disintegrated because of the wind going through the wires making a certain frequency. Well, scary, but also really empowering, and actually shows proof that their frequencies have such power.
Well, that's a great example, and one that I just thought of that I've never really given before either, that everybody's seen a video of somebody singing at a high pitch and breaking a glass. Yeah, so that's frequency.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So different frequencies, yeah. And
See,
the
this
low
is so fascinating.
EMFs are the low frequencies that we really don't want. That's why we're keeping our bodies high vibe, high frequency, to negate and just kind of dissolve the lower frequencies that are kind of being bombarded on us. We all love our computers, and that's why we can meet, but they're not necessarily the best things for our human body. So there is even is a frequency that eliminates EMFs. Just crazy. Let me read the types of frequencies in here, and then I'll start to say some of them. I mean, he's got tons, and mostly these were done because he did sessions with people and created these frequencies. A person who, Christine, was very instrumental in helping him make this manual because he just had pages and pages in a notebook. And Christine made these. You can find them. They do have a free Facebook page. If you look up Lloyd Meir, and it's LLOYD, and then Meir is MEAR. And every once in a while, they'll put out frequencies. I know the frequencies of the cranberries are there, of love, there's a tooth one in there, fascia is in there. So every once in a while, they'll give out frequencies. But I highly recommend this book if this resonates with you at all, because they're really fun, they're really easy, You can just put them on water if you want to infuse the water, and you can also just say them. For example, I have a frequency here. I might as well give an example as I'm saying them. Now, these are a bunch of frequencies that normally don't act like this in numbers. Usually they're different numbers, anywhere from maybe 6 to 14 numbers in a sequence. Some will have spaces, some will not, and the spaces are important. But these numbers were kind of the easy ones. Here's a depression elimination, and this actually is 5 nines and then 5 ones. So you'd say it as 99999111111. Now, numbers like that are kind of unusual with all the same numeral in it. They're usually different. But these were kind of fun to give out the first time around, or kind of easy to write down because I can tell you how many are in. An energy boost is 9 eighths. So the numeral 8, 9 times, no spaces. And then again, you could write this out, put this on your water so it's facing into your water, so kind of the water.
How many eighths?
9.
How many eighths did you? 9.
9. Yep. So you go, if you wanted to infuse it into your field, you could say it a few times. If you do douse, usually the way I do it is I'll take a number, and I'll do a different number beside the 8s because you're looking at that and you're even reading them, you kind of get confused. The way I will do it is have the number that I want and say, do I need this number? Yeah. And if it's a yes, I'll start reading the number until my pendulum says, or I'll say, is it in my field? And then I'll call it locked and loaded because you want it in your field and you want it locked in. So I'll say locked and loaded just for fun. And when it's locked and loaded, I know I have that number. And if it's something that is going on chronically, then I might go back and check it for a few days or keep saying it for a few days to make sure that really stays in our field, because there might be anything from geopathic stress to spiritual interferences to, food or, pesticide interferences that's not keeping that locked in your field. So if that's something that you're concerned about, then I'd go through, and check that. A lot of people, and with light wave, we can just ask for the frequency of nutmeg or any food or other frequency. But this is a really, I want to say, more down to earth, more basic, one-dimensional. To me, it's the one dimension. So the first dimension base frequencies that anything that has an existence has a number 4. So.
Wow.
That's how I do them.
And so are we trying to get to 100% on these, or just a higher percentage than what we were?
No, well, the one that we did the example of was kind of a different one because that's balance. So the example that we did, folks, before we, how many days ago was it that we started?
Wednesday.
Yeah, on 10/10.
I found a number for 5D balance. So to me, that would be, what is our, 5D balance today? And then we did a 0 to 100%. We did a percentage. Most of the time, I'll just ask this to be in your field. And you can ask the percentage, but I just ask, is it locked and loaded? And to me, that's 100% in. And for the most part, if it's not a balanced number, it's just the number itself, then it will lock in your field 100% without asking too much of the percentage. But you could. And again, if there was something, and if it says, you could say to be sure, is it locked and loaded 100%? That's probably a great thing to do. And if not, there's something that's either inhibiting that. But generally, the way Lloyd does it, and he's got many videos on YouTube as well, he will just he uses rods. So he'll keep the rod going until it says yes, and then to him that is in the field. So, all kind of where you're coming from, what your skills are, but it's not difficult. You can just write it down, put it on water, leave it there for a few hours. They say the average that I hear as studies have gone, they've actually done studies for frequencies, is about 6 hours. So just in general, you can put that on there.
I know that's what we did. We put it in on our water bottles, and we had a clear glass bottle, like you said, and or like you said, just facing it in, or on your water bottle, just faced it in, so the water saw it. So I wrote it on my clear bottles that I put in front of my my solfeggio tones and let them sit overnight. And then I'd make my tea, or put it in my dog's water. So I think he's probably more 5D balanced too now. But I make my tea whether I drink it. Yeah. So my dog's vibrating at a new level. Yeah,
So let's tell them then. Let's tell them what our frequencies were on Wednesday.
Okay.
And how we spent every day from Wednesday till now drinking the water and putting these frequencies for the 5D in our environment. And we have got amazing results.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and
maybe we can have
Go ahead.
Could we share this one with our audience, this number, and then maybe you could test them and see how they are at, and see.
Sure. If somebody wants to know, we can see where they're at, and then did you guys write down that number, because it's in my book somewhere, but I don't think I don't have it.
I memorized it.
So if you want to give it to them.
I got it.
Yeah.
You memorized it.
I did. I've been reciting it for days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
you can say it out nicely.
Okay. There's no spaces. So it's 436-787-36789. No spaces.
Yeah, and when you say that, you try and say that all in one line without gaps in between when you're trying.
436-787-36789.
And I put it on my bathroom mirror, like my affirmations.
I'll put it in the comment.
And I read it.
Exactly. A frequency is an affirmation.
I put my stones, put my Herkimer diamond, and on the jewelry I wear, I also put them on top of all that too.
Mm-hmm. So pretty much, like I said, this frequency I did a little bit differently than I've done before, because generally I just put it into the field. And we kind of tested what the balance was. Since this was the balance number, we tested what everybody's balance was. And it was an average of about 25% balanced. And now we have an average of about 80% balanced. So by using those frequencies throughout and that one, I think you do want to, something that gets out of balance very often, you kind of know. Like that one is a little bit different. So to test that, like you said, 100%, I think, again, by talking about this, we're bringing this to a different level, and we're using it to a different level by testing the balance and saying, okay, is it in my field? Okay, it might be locked and loaded, but how balanced am I? And then you could go to, I would say, okay, is there something in the field that's inhibiting it from balancing 100%? Or are we supposed to be balanced 100%? This one to me is kind of, I would love comments, because this one to me is kind of a different one that we can play around with, especially on a forum like this, instead of, we were mentioning cranberries. So I was saying, okay, there is a frequency for cranberries. So if we have that frequency, put it on your jar of cranberries and bring that back to the blueprint, the divine blueprint of the cranberry, instead of the one that's had pesticides on it, or, just energies in general from people handling it from 10 million places that it's been. So we can bring our food back to the divine frequency by putting the frequency, on the jar of the cranberries.
Wow. And would that apply to cooked ones, like canned and stuff, or just fresh?
I mean, it's a frequency. You can put that into anything you want. Water works really, really well. I use Aquaware from Peter Shank a lot. So that's another way I put frequencies into something. The other way that I put frequencies into things are my beautiful essential oils. I cook with them. I finish things off with them. This is lemon. So for a salad dressing, if you want a really super healthy salad dressing, you could either put numbers on your salad dressing bottle. And again, I would get it off the commercial bottles and have a nice kind of clear bottle, maybe, and put frequencies of maybe oregano, which is a really powerful, healthy frequency, and oil.
Oh yeah, it's antiviral.
Yeah, I did a frequency for bone broth somewhere along the line, and I'll have to find that number, because I know I did it for my classes when I started them. Because bone broth is really good, but some people don't want meat, or don't want animal. So even people who, I won't say bread, but even a bad example, I suppose. But even a frequency of something that someone is allergic to, they still may need that frequency, but in 3D, they're allergic to that food itself, or it's a really good frequency that might be shown that they need in their field, but can't take it in 3D form because it might be compromised. It might not be a wonderful form of it, and they can do it either etherically or by saying the number, or, like I said, I love essential oils, but that's the interface to me between the 5D and the other.
Right.
Do you want to ask Tersea Warren had a question there, Bex? Did you see it?
Yeah, I didn't see it, but right here. It says, can you check how overall balanced everyone here watching is now? See if we can get that more balanced. I can't see the rest of it. Let me see. No, it's not letting me see the rest of the comment. Can you see it, Rhonda?
See if we can
should probably
get
help
that more
balance
balanced.
it.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
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 Let's do the 5D. See, we did the 5D, and I had some neat dreams, and I noticed that you guys all had dreams too. So that was really
Very
cool. One
active
thing
dreams.
to notice.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a totally different number. I think it's pretty awesome that we, just by talking, we were just kind of jabbering and, wondering what kind of experiment to do or what kind of fun to have. And I've never really, looked at that number that much. I look at the digestive energy number, the conscious stabilization number, different numbers like that. But I think this one is really auspicious that we found it and are using it and are sharing it out. It's a 5D balance number. So I don't know if you guys want to type that into the comments, so they or maybe you have already.
Yeah, I did type. I've already typed it in. I've typed
Okay,
it
good.
in
Then I
for
can do it
everybody,
back.
so they have that number. I'll type it in
Yeah.
again if I can.
So do we want to test the balance of the group and see where everyone's at as a
Yeah,
group?
let's test the balance
Yeah.
of the group where everybody is.
This is too much fun. Oh my God.
And you can test your own with your pendulum. You can test your own balance.
Yeah,
We
if you
did
would
too.
tell us how you're testing, that would be really good. And because you taught me how to do that, I hadn't really used my pendulum that time before. And this is, I'm typing it into the comments, making sure I've got all the numbers.
And I did of those listening now, I get about 35% of those listening now are balanced. And I mean, we could go on forever with this one, but it's like how balanced are we supposed to be now? We could douse that and ask a lot more questions. So it's kind of, we're again taking a number and then going, just going beyond, just by having numbers. So you can, Lloyd Neer actually has an assessment that you can do on yourself. This is part of it. Ooh. And it's 2 or 3 pages, and it will ask things like, well, it does have if your chakras balanced, but he doesn't get into so much. Things like, is your uric acid normal? Is your protein in your blood normal? Is your this negative energy field I wanted to give people, because I thought this was one of the most fascinating things I've found when I was doing the Lloyd numbers and learning all his stuff, is that everybody knows they like to sit in front of a fireplace or go to the ocean. And this is because it increases your negative field, right? Increases your healing field. And we have to be in a negative field to heal. So staring in front of a fire isn't so crazy because we're doing that for our health, not just for, spacing out and looking at the fire. So I thought that was really cool.
So cool.
So I mean, it gives you
there a number for that then?
Negative.
Yep. All right.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
All right, I'm ready.
This is a fairly long one.
Okay.
And I'll probably stop in gaps, but again, this is one with no spaces, but I'll stop in gaps so you can write it down. 6746 3628 58687. Shall I repeat that?
Mm-hmm. 6.
So that's one of the really important numbers that brings your neutral or positive energy into a negative field so that you can heal.
Oh, cool.
So there's things like that that are just base kind of frequency codes that are really awesome to have around all the time and to keep your frequency back into that. Let's see if we can find another one. So many of them. Let me go to this one again. I've got pages and pages, and if you do buy the manual, you'll get about 4 or 5 of his not conferences, 4 or 5 of his talks that he did where he really talks about the ones that he would test first, the ones that are really important to do. Here's digestive energy, which is important for everybody, especially light workers that are trying to digest all this energetic stuff. And this one is, again, no spaces, but I'll say it in gaps. 6546 55465. So as you can see, some of them are different, different numbers of numbers. And from what I see, most of the time, the basic ones are shorter and the more complex numbers are the longer numbers. That's what I found so far.
Wow, that's so cool.
And I have tons, so I could keep going forever, but do you want to talk about them or do you want more numbers?
What would you like to do? What would you like to do? What do you think the people need today? We've got a few minutes.
Let me find, spinal flow. This is one that I double marked for you. So spinal flow, we talk about, energy and flow in the spine, of course, which we all know is important. Now this has one space, so I'll say it like it is. First, there's 4 numbers, 9269. Then there's a space, 47797.
47.
Ooh, that tingles.
Cathy,
That tingles
will you be able
already.
to put these in the comments below too? I'm going to put all your links in the comments, but will you be able to put these all in the comments maybe below our links?
Probably with some more too, because some of them are so good for all of us here. There's one I think I double marked.
We do have someone asking for information about the manual.
Yep, Lloyd Meir, balancingbynumbers.com. And I think the manual, I want to say around $100.
When I was looking, said it was $159, but if you subscribe to the newsletter, you got $20 off or 20% or something.
Yep, and then you do get a private Facebook page where you can ask questions like a support group. So you basically get a number support group when you log in there. I just have adopted these in my practice and what I do to either check numbers, and again, as my 9-dimensional program, they're really to me the base frequencies that you can always check to see if some of the base ones, like I said, spinal flow even, or I double marked some of them in here. He also has one to actually get energy to flow through scar tissue. I don't have this one on the paper, but if you have a lot of scars, that's one place where a lot of your energy is not flowing. And I can try and look that one up, but that's really important. So if anybody has the manual or wants to put any, some people listening may have the manual or may have numbers. The Anahata codes are free online, actually. If you go to Anahata, I think it's anahata.com. I'm not exactly sure. But her name is Holly Hollowell, and she calls herself Anahata. Her codes are free to download, and then she has classes so you can get certified and to learn how to download numbers. She basically has the same type of download process. You just put them into your field, test if you have them, and you can say them or do it etherically. So there's a number of different ways to work with numbers.
Balancing by the energy.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So what is the one for the scar tissue?
Yeah, I don't know the number, but I can look that up. That one is actually extremely important. People don't realize that if you have a scar, your energy is blocked there, so your meridians can't flow correctly with the electrons.
And I was reading about even your belly button scar causes a lot of problems, a lot of fascia problems, and a lot of energy is stuck there because that's where a lot of people's back problems come from their belly button scar, which is really interesting.
Yeah, and again, if you go to the Lloyd Meir number Facebook page, most people here on Facebook have a Facebook page, or maybe listening to it afterwards who don't. But if you go to the Lloyd Meir Facebook group and go there, there's a lot of numbers in there on graphics that are really helpful, like fascia. There's one for fascia.
Yeah, you just have to keep scrolling down. Yeah.
I found the one for joy there. I wanted that one, so it was.
Joy. Yeah,
so
and different
excited.
things. Yeah, anything from food to emotions to elimination. There's some numbers that are actually identification when you get into more like disease type of things, but for the most part, they're just super fun and great to have. We're controlling our frequencies in our field. Right?
Yeah, I found out I had high blood pressure, so I was looking up a number the other day for high blood pressure.
Mm-hmm. There is a
in
number of them.
Pinterest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, different ones. Okay.
I do have to say, I'm glad you brought that up because I did light score for some of the numbers on Pinterest in terms of light score, and some of them were not very high. That's why I tend to fall back into either the Lloyd Meir numbers of the Anahata. I'm not saying that everything there, and I don't even remember what ones, and who knows why that particular page that I saw wasn't a high light score. But it's another thing to know that the scores, get them from a trusted source.
Oh, neat. Okay. Good to know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what are you doing this week on your show? In a half an hour.
I've been going through the 9 dimensions. So if anybody wants to go back to my show and see what I say about the first dimension, which includes numbers, but is not just about the numbers, I do have that scrolling back a little bit on the Akashic Academy. I'm actually taking a break from that and interviewing a person who is local. Actually, she wrote a book. She cured herself. Well, I'm going to say cured herself. She is cancer-free because she realized her body knows more than she does and went a different route than, some people choose to do. So she's talking about her experience, about the body's wisdom, and she'll be with me. Lisa Warner will be with me in just a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's very cool.
But what you guys inspired me to do, I don't want to forget to share. I've not been working with the numbers for a little bit because I'm busy summers and here, and we've had these wonderful wellness retreats here at the lodge. If anybody wants to, talk about hosting retreat, I'm doing virtual live retreats every month. So you don't even have to be here, but we'll do everything we can to make people feel like they're here, give recipes of what we're having to eat, have meals together online, and then hopefully have some people here. But so you guys, since we started going through the numbers, I kept wondering, I kept feeling pushed to do something nutritional or some kind of nourishing or something, but it didn't make sense to have a food lineup of people are in different, areas. Not everybody eats the same foods. The same foods are not good for everybody. But when you look at frequencies, they're all good. And like I said, no matter if you're kind of allergic or not, you might need that frequency in etheric form. So you kind of inspired me to create this thing called, I was calling it the Nutritional Energetics Pantry. So instead of 3D items in the pantry, we'll put numbers and frequencies in the pantry. And sometimes we'll make soup. We might make a nutritional soup of the different frequencies that I feel people need for that time period. If we're going through a rough period or whatever. Then I'll douse out the frequencies that we need and make our own little elixir or cocktail or soup, whatever you want to call it. Really have some fun.
I love it.
So
thank
cool.
you. Thank you.
I
And
love
are you
it.
going to do?
It answered
Are
some of
you
my
doing that on your? Are you doing that on a show on the Akashic Academy? Or are you going to do that on your Facebook page? Or are you going to do that?
I'll do it on the Akashic Academy. Well, actually, probably at the end of the month, I'm having a virtual real retreat. So I'll announce that on the Akashic Academy and put up links. I'll probably announce it first there and then do a show maybe in November and December on that. But I'll have links up on how people can get to me. So thank you. I am so psyched for this. I think it's going to be so much fun.
I really want that fat lip loss soup that we have to eat because I hate me. If I could have a virtual one, drink it like water.
Oh, so we could do this like I don't like fish. And you can give us like a code for fish, and then I wouldn't have to eat it, but I could still get the omega value out of it or something.
Yeah, and that's a really good point, Teresa, because some people think fats are not good. We're made up of fats. Our brains are fats. Everything goes through fats. And I know some people who have had information that fats are not good, or, we take in the wrong fats. So we can get the good fats by the frequency and return that type of intake that we need if we're willing to, take a look at the frequency number.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's
this
a good
is
point.
so fun.
This is a whole new world to me.
It does open up a whole new world. And like I said, even friends and family who aren't into energy work will resonate with numbers because they know numbers are a frequency on a radio dial.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
You gave me the frequency for the algebra to help my daughter.
Ah,
And so right now I'm making her some algebra water, and I've got a calcite stone on
mhm,
top of the frequency, and I'm going to wire wrap that for her to help her.
mhm.
So
That's
that's going to be
awesome.
so cool,
That's
especially
the
seeing our
intent.
results.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the
You know how,
intent, it's the frequency, it's the reminder that you want the frequency in your field, and you're intending for that result as well.
Right.
awesome.
And I just found out that my daughter's actually watching, so she may not drink any water I give her now. Sorry, Jules, you might get some healthy water.
It's,
But it tastes
just
neat.
do it over the whole
It tastes
case.
sweet
Then
after
we can.
this.
I'll write on all of them.
And I think in the
Well,
pantry we
right.
should do an experiment of having different sets of water and see if we taste differently. I know when I do the Aquaware waters, the waters definitely taste different. Sometimes I'm like, ah, oh my gosh, and other times it tastes even good. So it does
Oh,
change
wow.
the texture and the taste.
Yeah,
I
of the
taste
I
the
noticed the
difference
water
so
tasted
far.
different because I had the 4 codes. I did
Yes.
4 different codes. I did Joy, I did the highest level of love, the 5D stabilize, and there was a weight loss one that Rhonda showed me.
Oh,
And I did
neat.
all of those at the same time. And I noticed the water just tastes really clear and really clean and refreshing, and it just feels good when you're
Smooth.
drinking it. Yeah.
Right.
And there is
That
a
was-
fluoride elimination number too, so we really should get that one out
Yes.
on the form. Remind me, there is a fluoride elimination because too many of us have fluoride in our water.
Right.
Yes, and that
I'm
messes
lucky I
up with
don't.
our pineal gland and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
I mean,
fluoride.
there should be like a purify, like you just purify your water with the code. Yeah.
Well, there is. If
reverse
Peter Shank
osmosis.
actually has a free program called I want to say Nautilus. Now I'm blanking. But he has a free program. It's kind of the precursor to Aquaware, and that will blank slate your water. So that's a perfect thing to do before frequency numbers because it will blank slate it and energize it in general without putting specific frequencies in. But it'll blank slate all the memories. It will actually prepare it for your body. So again, I'm glad you brought this up. It will prepare it for your body to be absorbed better. And then that's the perfect water to put frequency numbers into or to continue with Aquaware. But the I want to say Nautilus, and I think I'm not saying that right, but it's on Peter's website, Peter Shank, and it's a free download.
That's awesome.
So that's
Yes,
a great
he's a
way
regular
to-
guest on Christy's
Yeah.
show, Christy
Yeah.
Warnick's show.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been here
That's
actually.
great.
He was here for a retreat with us, and I met Peter, and we did.
Oh, wow.
That would be fun.
That's so cool.
Oh, my
Yeah.
God. Well, I guess we have to let you go so you can get ready for your show, which is
Okay.
next.
Thank you.
So watch Cathy and her guests next at 1 p.m. And we want to thank you all for being with us. And at 8 o'clock tonight is Janelle Cameron and her Ascension. Oh my gosh.
Cosmic
I always
Ascension
know what the-
Report. Yes.
Cosmic Ascension Report. Yeah, now that I have to do it, I totally forgot. And remember to share this out so you win a session with Bex Marie. And today's winner who won a session with me, a healing session with me, is Cathy Carter Reichart. I'll be in touch with you, Cathy, because I'm not sure if I'm saying your name right. This week, there's lots of shows on the Akashic Academy, lots of high vibe shows to help you balance your whole body and get off the CNN and whatever Fox News blank that you need to get off of, that addiction. Get into the good news of the Akashic Academy. We have shows all week long. All our guests bring something nice and enlightening to us. We learn so much, and these
And
are
the
shows that make
magazine.
you feel good.
Yes.
If you in the magazine, it will be in our links that you can download and watch on your computer. And if you like what you see here, consider becoming in the inner tribe, in our secret group, where we have lots of classes going on, lots of things going on in the Akashic Academy in the inner group. It's only $44 a month to join. And it's also, again, a spiritual gym membership you can use and every day. And there's replays and there's lots of things on there for everyone. And you can go
And you
back
find
and
your
binge
spiritual
watch up to your heart's
family.
content.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and you do. You find your spiritual family all across the globe. We're global, and we keep on growing. And thank you all for being here. And I did pull a card for us all today. And this one's about gratitude.
Oh, yes.
It's wonderful to gaze out at the mysterious horizon of possibilities A view best enjoyed with the fruit already within reach. Which I think talks about all of us. We're all within reach of each other and our families and everybody here. Think of what you see and be grateful. Your world is full of good things. Have a blessed week, everyone. Thank you all.
Thank you for the inspiration.
Thank you, Cathy.
Thank you, Cathy.
I'm so excited about that, Cathy.
Love you, Cathy. We'll see you in about 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Okay.
All righty.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Cathy.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone.